This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm finally back home in the studio. Thank you for continuing to join while I was away. Steph and Ron and Josh and Andy. Everybody did a great job. I thank them very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. Very much. Very appreciative. The Knicks pulled out a tough one tonight, 103-96 over the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly was without Joel Embiid. They were without Tobias Harris. Obviously, that didn't mean this game was going to be easy. We've seen it time and time again with the New York Knicks that just because star players are out, the best players are out, doesn't mean it's going to be easy for the New York Knicks. I think we've learned that lesson. I think the team has learned that lesson. Still wasn't easy tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks had a 19-point lead. A 19-point lead. And they allowed the Philadelphia 76ers to climb back into the game. The Knicks bent. They bent over backwards, but they didn't break. They didn't break. Philadelphia got as close as one in the second half, but they could never get over the hump, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Randle had a big game for the New York Knicks. Randle had 31 points tonight. 11 rebounds, 12 rebounds, as a matter of fact. He also had 3 assists. You know, Randle took it upon himself to take the responsibility for the New York Knicks not playing with the type of energy that we expect this team to come out with. And I think he displayed it tonight. He had better effort, in my opinion. Still, some rotation issues. Still, sometimes he's slow to get out on three-point shooters. Who was that? Niang. Right? Niang got hot tonight. He was knocking down threes. There's always some guy knocking down threes against the New York Knicks that we don't expect. Last night it was Rubio. Tonight it's Niang. Except Niang didn't get as hot as Rubio did. But you know, Julius Randle's got to be a little bit better on those rotations, man. Not going to complain too much because I do want to celebrate the win. Just saying. You know, he'll come out and he'll be there, but he'll still give the guy enough space to be able to pull up the shot. But anyway, the New York Knicks were able to pull out a win tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And we expected them to do so. But we've got to figure out how to stop allowing teams back into the game. You have a 19-point lead against a team that does not have Joel Embiid, does not have Tobias Harris. I'm not even going to include Ben Simmons. He may not be there, or probably won't be there for the season. But we got to figure out a way not to give these leads up. Got to figure out a way. I'm joined by Steph, ladies and gentlemen. And, we're going to go ahead and break this thing down. I'm sure we'll get a few other people join us as time goes on, and we'll take some calls and those type of things. But, Steph, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Sam. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah.
Very glad to be back.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Listen, a win is a win, as I always say, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll take it any way it comes. The Knicks are 7-4. But, you know, you can't be too happy about the third quarter. Again, giving up a big lead, in this case to depleted team and other games to an injured team or a young team, and we have to get better at that. I think that the Knicks find different ways each game to. It's not the same thing. It's not always the defense, right? Sometimes it's not hitting shots. Sometimes it's effort. Like, it's different things, different nights. The energy was there tonight, I thought. I thought that Randle played better on the defensive end. Some questionable shots, but in that fourth quarter, he came up big for us, and we needed him to do that. I was surprised that Tibbs put Kemba back in the game in the fourth quarter, but he also made a big shot or two for us down the stretch. It's a work in process. You just can't get comfortable with this team right now.
Yeah.
You can't get comfortable because you don't know what you're going to get on any given night.
Right. And you can really see that it's a work in progress. Every night there's a different rotation down the stretch.
Right.
Last year you knew who was going to play down the stretch. Every once in a while somebody new, would be thrust into the lineup, if they were hot or if somebody just wasn't playing well. But right now you're just not sure.
Right.
Who's it going to be? Come down the stretch. Last night down the stretch was Grimes and Randle and Quickly, right? Derrick Rose, RJ Barrett. I think that's who finished the games out. Tonight it was basically your starting five with Taj Gibson because Nerlens Noel went out with what looked to me to be a hyperextended knee.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything official, but that's what it looked like.
Right.
From the way that his Danny Green's elbow hit his knee, looked like it could be hyperextended.
Right.
Nonetheless, it's a win that the Knicks needed. Right. They needed to win this game. They needed to pull this game out. You couldn't. There's no way. The feeling going back to New York would have been so bad.
Oh,
the Knicks would have given up a 19-point lead tonight.
Yeah. And Twitter would have been on fire tomorrow.
Ooh, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about Julius Randle's play tonight in the fourth quarter?
He came up big for us. He came up big for us. He still passed the ball up as well. It wasn't like he took every shot. I thought he played well for us. His defensive effort was there, for most of the game, if not all of the game. So that's basically what you need from your number one guy.
Yeah.
To come up big in the big moments. And he did that for us tonight.
Exactly. He was 4 of 5 from the field in the fourth quarter, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. And he had 3 rebounds in the fourth quarter, 10 points. And when the game was close, it was in the balance. Randle came in and you could just see the speed at which he was playing. And he knew that Yang couldn't guard him. Or if Danny Green was on him, Danny Green wasn't going to be able to guard him. So he just went full head of steam to the basket.
Right.
And, he was successful at it. And then it opened up the 3-point shot, and he started knocking down threes. This is what we need from Randle on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can give us that on a nightly basis, but we need him to be able to, just step up, to another level of play in that fourth quarter.
I mean, he did it for us last year. There's less. He has more options this year, right? So, you would think he would be able to. But, some players, and I don't know if Randle is at this level yet, some players know that they need to be fresh in the fourth quarter, right? So some players, like I think about Kobe, and I know he's not on Kobe level, who would in the first 3 quarters move the ball around. If he needed to, he would do it. But if not, maybe not, because he knew in the fourth quarter, he was going to be taking most of the shots.
Right.
I'm not sure Randle is there right now in terms of how to pace himself, when to pace himself, how's the game going, how involved do I need to be right now. I'm not sure he's there yet.
Yeah.
But we do need him in the fourth quarter. So the more he can save himself, stop dribbling the ball so much. In my opinion, you don't really need to be bringing the ball down the court. If you're just running down the court and getting to your spot, that's less energy than having to bring the ball, up the
Right.
court, in my opinion. So,
Right. And
yeah,
all
but
those,
this is what we need.
yeah, all those little things add up throughout the game too. Even taking extra dribbles when you are going one-on-one.
Right.
It adds up.
Right.
He was,
And also starting so far out and having to back yourself down. Pass, if you far out in the post, pass it to somebody, reestablish your position a little lower and get it back.
yeah, exactly. And, I seen tonight a couple of times where he actually rolled to the basket. Now he didn't end up shooting the ball at the basket, but he did roll to the basket, and it created shots on the outside a couple of times. I don't remember who hit him. Maybe it was Kemba. Maybe it was Fournier. But hit him on a roll to the basket, and then he kicked it out to a three-point shooter.
Right.
Right. Whether or not we made it, I don't remember, but I do recall him rolling to the basket on a few times. But even when he's going one-on-one, sometimes I feel like he takes too many extra dribbles. Instead of just let me make a quick, strong move to the basket,
right?
And get inside. There's a couple of times between the legs, and then the crossover, and then the spin,
right?
And he's working so hard just to get to the cup, So he's expending a lot of energy.
Right.
Tonight he was able to get a little bit of extra rest. It felt like I'm not exactly sure how many minutes he played tonight. He played 35 minutes tonight. RJ Barrett played 40 minutes tonight, but it seemed like he got a little bit of extra rest in that third quarter. I think third quarter going into the fourth quarter. I think fourth quarter, top of the fourth quarter, and I think he was brought back about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, something like that. You know, and you notice that he came in with energy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe that's something we can do more often, depending on how the game is going.
Right. Now, he didn't necessarily get the rest because of Obi Toppin. And I don't think Obi Toppin was playing bad.
Right.
Obi Toppin had 4 points. He had 3 assists. He had 3 rebounds. He was 2 for 3 from the field. I thought he was playing decent basketball. I didn't think he was really getting killed defensively. I know Niang scored on him a couple of times, but he also scored on Alec Burks a couple of times.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's the reason why Tom Thibodeau decided to take him out of the game, but he only played 8 minutes and 42 seconds. So the rest, 8 minutes and 42 seconds for Obi Toppin. So I guess the rest came because RJ Barrett played a lot with the second unit. He played 40 minutes tonight. And there was a time when it was, I think, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Taj Gibson, and R.J. Barrett on the floor. They was
R.J. played the 4.
Yeah, R.J. was playing the 4, exactly. There was a time when Obi Toppin was in instead of Taj Gibson, and then Doc Rivers brought in Andre Drummond.
Right.
And then that's when Coach Tibbs put Taj in for Obi Toppin. But for a good stretch in that third quarter, the Knicks were really, really small.
Right.
Even when Philly brought in Andre Drummond and Taj Gibson came back in, they were still very small, basically playing with 3 guards in a center.
Right. Yeah. Josh said RJ fits well with the second unit. As long as he's starting and then getting some time with the second unit, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some of that was necessity. Right. But listen, I've said it all along. If we're gonna get Obi extra minutes, it's gonna be because we're going small. I just feel like in a lot of ways we play different when he's in the game. That we're a bit more energetic when he's in the game. And I think that can turn the game sometimes. Maybe not every time, but it can turn the game sometimes. but we just don't do it enough,
Right.
to get that push.
Right. Something that Obi adds that nobody else on the team adds is the way he leaks out. And we see it several times a game when he's in the game. The opposing team, they'll shoot a long three, whatever it is that they shoot, and you'll see Obi leaking out. And our guards are now beginning to look up and see if Obi is leaking out. We get several fast break points in that manner. And I think that really does help the team. One, it excites the team when he gets a dunk, and if he's home, and it excites the crowd, and then it's an easy layup. When you need those easy layups, that helps take pressure off of the offense, when you're able to get those, type of easy baskets,
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, but, I guess, Tom Thibodeau has his reasons. Tonight, maybe it was just, like you said, out of necessity.
Right.
That he was out of the game because Andre Drummond came in. He wanted to match him with Taj Gibson, which I agree. There's no way that Obi Toppin was going to be able to deal with Andre Drummond,
who had 25 rebounds or something like that.
Crazy number of rebounds tonight. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say about Obi is the way he finishes with either hand with the body control, because a lot of times that layup is not straight on. He's coming at different angles, and he's able to finish with each hand. He's able to get his soft off the glass, the body control, and his handle is much better as well. He put in a lot of work over the summer, you could tell.
Yeah, he did, without a doubt. My man G Fresh is in the building. I'm gonna get to you in just a second, G Fresh. Let me run down his box score real quick, and then we'll get on over to G Fresh. For the Knicks, they were led by Julius Randle, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. Shot 48% from the field and 50% from the three-point line. He was followed by RJ Barrett, who had 15 points and 10 rebounds. Talking about RJ playing a little bit of 4. He was able to grab some rebounds from that 4 spot, which is, what you need from him. Evan Fournier was third in scoring. He had 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists tonight. Shot 62.5% from the field. He was 1 for 4 from the three-point line. The Knicks didn't really shoot that well from the three-point line tonight. RJ Barrett was 25%. Evan Fournier was 25%. Kemba Walker was 16.7%. Alec Burks was only 20% from the three-point line. It was really only Quickly and Julius Randle that were knocking down threes. Quickly had 10 points. He was 3 for 4 from the field, 3 for 4 from the three-point line. He also had 3 assists on the night. Kemba Walker had 8 points and 5 assists. Derrick Rose had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Taj Gibson had 7 points and 8 rebounds tonight. And it looks like Taj Gibson's going to be playing some extended minutes. We don't know how long Mitchell Robinson's going to be out with his hip. We don't know how long or what's going on with Nerlens Noel. So now we're back to, being depleted at that center position. Which is, that's the reason why we signed, got Mitch and signed Nerlens Noel and kept Taj Gibson and grabbed another center because we didn't want to be depleted at the center position. But yet again, we're depleted at that center position. I don't know. What are you going to do? Philadelphia 76ers, ladies and gentlemen, stuttering over myself. They were led by Korkmaz. He had 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. And then Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is a ball player too, man. I know we've said it before, but that kid can play some basketball. But Tyrese Maxey had 16 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He just fills up the stat sheet. Seth Curry, he cooled off in the game, but he had 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. Then you had Andre Drummond, 14 points, 25 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. Shake Milton had 10 points. Yang comes out of nowhere, and he had 15 points against us. Danny Green had 8 points and 3 assists. That's the rundown, ladies and gentlemen. That is the box score of the game. We'll get to a couple of stats a little bit later on. Let me say what's up to G Fresh. Get him in the building. See what's going on with him. G Fresh, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? What's up, the Queen? How y'all doing? What's up to the chat? All to the NBA K-fam, man. I'm doing good. I'm blessed. I can't complain, man.
No doubt, good, man. How'd you feel about tonight's game, man?
Oh, man, it was kind of like an ugly win. Like, I think your expectation as a fan was they are down in B. They're down their second best player currently, which is Harris, missing probably their second best defender, which is Thibodeau, and they don't have Simmons.
I forgot about Thibodeau.
Right.
So a team that literally, if you want to say, for lack of better words, missing their 4 top players, and for us to kind of struggle, you kind of don't want to see that. You want to see us kind of make a statement, like if make a statement towards the league when you're down your best players, we coming out to stomp you out. And I think that's what Tibbs was trying to preach. When teams are down players, they're going to play with heart. They're going to play with passion. They're going to play with more together. And just to kind of see us play a little sloppy, kind of just, once again, fall in love with the 3-point shot too much, kind of was just, you expect a little bit better, but at the end of the day, we got the dub. So
yeah, that's the thing. At the end of the day, we won the game. Listen, they're a team that plays with pride. They've got a good coach, coach who is, kind of the same type of guy as Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
And
they were at home.
Right. They're at home. So, they're going to scratch and claw and fight. Now, can that team win? Are they going to go a long period of time and win games? I mean, they didn't win tonight and win games without Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris, or be close in games without those two. No, they're not. But for one night, 2 nights, they can probably scratch together really good basketball games, if they really need to.
Right.
They did that tonight. They didn't pull out the win, but they made it tight. And it was like that last year. Every time we played them, it was tight. But, listen, we're 2-0 against them this season. We advanced to 7-4 on the season.
Still 7th.
Still 7th. I really wish it was 8-3.
Yeah.
I do it every single year. I look back at games that I'm like, man, we could have and should have beat the Cavs. We'd be 8-3 right now and in second place in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we're 7-4 and in 7th place in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, Sam, and you know me, man, I'm big on my 10-game splits, man. So I was looking up some stats, man, as far as our 10 game split.
Okay.
So, when you get a chance, we probably, visit that a little bit.
Go ahead. Well, you know what?
Oh.
Let's do this. Let me run over some of the game stats really quick. And then, I want to hear, just some of the stats that you got after 10 games, because 10 games is a decent barometer. Still early in the season, but a decent barometer to say, hey, all right, let's start to take a look at some trends of the New York Knicks. Right now, just some stats from tonight's game. Again, the New York Knicks beat the Philadelphia 76ers 103-96 in a game that was much tighter than expected, at least after the way the Knicks started the game. Jumped out to a 19-point lead, had a 14-point lead at halftime. But hey, even though Andre Drummond had 25 boards, the Knicks still won the battle of the boards, 55-47. The Knicks had 25 assists. Philadelphia 76ers had 20. 4 steals for the Knicks, 7 for the 76ers, 4 blocks for the Knicks, 6 for the 76ers, 13 turnovers for the Knicks, only 8 for Philadelphia. The Knicks didn't shoot that well from the field. They shot 44% from the field. They shot 32.5% from the three-point line. The Sixers also shot 32.5% from the three-point line, and they shot 38.5% from the field. The Knicks shot 77% from the free throw line. Philadelphia was 81%. The Knicks had 23 fast break points. So this means, because Philadelphia didn't turn the ball over a lot, right? So they were getting their fast break points through rebounding and getting out and running. And also because Philadelphia missed some three-point shots, and the Knicks were able to capitalize, maybe off of some long rebounds, get out and run and convert on a fast break. 23 fast break points for the Knicks, only 5 for Philadelphia. The Knicks had 22 second chance points. Maybe part of the reason why Philadelphia only had 5 fast break points, because the Knicks were getting offensive rebounds and then scoring off of them. 13 for Philadelphia. The Knicks had 44 points in the paint, and Philadelphia had 42 points in the paint. Game stats right there, ladies and gentlemen. Game stats. G Fresh, you said you got some trends or some stats after 10 games that we might want to look at. Go ahead, shoot, man.
Well, to your point when you was mentioning as far as rebounding the ball, getting opportunities as far as in transition, one stat I kind of find particularly interesting is when RJ gets over 6 rebounds a game, we're 6-0. So this game he had 10 rebounds, and I noticed by just the eye test, because I try to go by stats and then the eye test. So I noticed when RJ tends to get the rebound, he's ready to push. So that's one of our emphasis is, can we get rebounds and push the pace? Because if you notice when Randle tends to get the rebound, which when I looked at his 10 game splits, him getting a whole bunch of rebounds doesn't really determine whether or not if we win games. But with RJ, that kind of has a bigger impact, because RJ, if you notice, once he gets the rebound, he's ready to push. He's ready to attack the ball. So I think that was a good 10-game split for us to kind of, look at. Randle, when he gets 6.7 basically over six a game, we're 6-0. When it's under that, when it's like 4.5, we're losing.
Assist.
But it's odd because he had 3 assists this game. But the way I kind of looked at this game was kind of like they missing their 4, top players. So you got to take that also with a grain of salt. So I think when Randle is definitely, making those correct passes, and whether if he makes turnovers or not, it doesn't really determine the game, because in the first game, I think was against Boston, he had 7 turnovers. And then I think the next game he had like 5 turnovers, and we still won the game. So whether he turned over the ball doesn't really mean whether or not if we are winning. It just mainly basically if he's making the correct passes to guys and getting guys easy shots. One clear thing, when we are letting teams score over 110 points a game, is a dub. We're 0-4.
Right.
So I think the stat that pretty much everybody knows, you keep someone under 100, we pretty much win. I mean, we pretty much win. So I think at the end of the day, our defense got to be our main vocal point, keeping teams under 110 points. We keep teams under 110 points, we have a good chance to win.
Yeah. I really like that stat about RJ and being on the boards, because he does. When RJ gets the ball, he can get out and go, right. and he's shown this season that when he gets out and goes and he finds a hole, he finds a lane, you know what I'm saying? He's not stopped, and he gets all the way to the cup, lays it in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I really do like RJ getting the ball off the glass and pushing. Get it off the glass and push. Get it off the glass and push. I think it takes some pressure off of Randle. So Randle doesn't have to get it off the glass and push, or Randle doesn't have to score. And, it allows RJ to get some easy buckets without the offense having to set up. And it keeps the defense, it keeps the opposing team on their heels, right? So they can't send a bunch of guys to the glass, right? To the offensive glass. Because you got a guy like RJ that'll get it off the glass and go. And you got 2 guys, RJ and Randle, who can get it off the glass and go. I think RJ right now seems to be making better decisions when he gets it off the glass and goes. Randle sometimes, he'll make a good decision. I get a little bit nervous that he's going to run somebody over and pick up an offensive foul or something like that. You know what I mean? When he gets off the glass.
And I don't understand why Randle, who's a big burly guy going downhill, just like RJ, can't do the same thing. When he brings the ball down, he goes right to the post. When RJ brings the ball down, he's going right to the cup.
Right.
You know?
Right to the rim. Right. Sometimes.
And Steph, that's a good point, Steph. Not to cut you off, Sim, but that's a good point because it just seems like Randle wants to kind of get into a half-court set almost. And it's like you see the capability when Randle wants to go coast to coast. Ain't nobody. It's like mini LeBron 2.0. It's like you might as well get out the way.
Yeah.
He's gonna convert it.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like he'd rather go in his bag a little bit.
Sometimes I feel like he gets a little tentative because he does have a tendency to pick up offensive fouls. So I feel like he gets a little tentative and, doesn't want to run somebody over or pick up an offensive foul or even sometimes turn over the ball because we all know he's turnover prone. Right. He doesn't want to turn over the ball. Nevertheless.
There was another thing too. I know before I got on, I was listening to y'all talk about Obi. When Obi gets over 16 minutes a game, we're 6-0. So I think Tibbs needs to find a way. And I think even the last game where I felt like Obi last game was 4 for 4 from the field, and he had 11 minutes. I think Tibbs has to do a better job of finagling minutes to Obi. It should be no reason why Obi go 4 for 4 and he only have 11 minutes. And in his splits, when you kind of look at it, whether he gets rebounds, he's really passing, it doesn't really matter. He just needs to play. He just, period, from what his splits say, that he just needs to get some minutes, whether if he's still in minutes from Taj, Noel, he definitely needs to, still some minutes because his defense doesn't really necessarily impact our winning or our losing.
Yeah, I think a lot's going to always depend on, who we're playing, if that team is big, if that team is small. You seen Obi was starting to get some minutes in the second half, and then when the Philadelphia 76ers decided to put in Andre Drummond, Taj was like, Obi's not going to be able to deal with Andre Drummond down there, which I agree with him. I don't think he would be able to deal with him because the Knicks were totally small. At that point, when Andre Drummond came in, Obi was the tallest guy on the floor for the Knicks. He's 6'8", tallest guy on the floor. Decided to come in with Andre Drummond, 6'10", big, burly. He would have pushed Obi Toppin around, so he decided to bring in Taj. I want to talk about this center position, though, because now Nerlens Noel, I just came off of having an hyperextended knee. And let me tell you what, I injured my knee in June, and it still swells up. I wasn't able to really play on it until last month. Wow. Right now, I don't know if I may have did something a little bit more than just an hyperextension. I probably, bruised a ligament or did something like that. I didn't go to the doctor for it. I let it heal and see what was going to happen. I don't have the Knicks doctors by my side to let me know what's going on. So hopefully it's not the same thing for Nerlens Noel. He's just getting back. You can see the way that his defense and his hustle and what he does as a glue guy changes the basketball game for us. We need as many defenders out there on the floor as possible. I hate to lose Nerlens Noel, but we might. And we don't know what's going on with Mitch as far as the hip. Maybe got a hip pointer. I didn't exactly see. I heard in the pregame show you guys talking about Mitch being out. I don't know exactly what it is, but if he's going to be out for maybe a couple of games, we're looking at Taj and Jericho Sims manning that spot. And then we'll probably play a lot of small ball. Steph, what do you that center position, what do you think?
Yeah, I think thank God for Taj. Oh, Mr. Reliable, right? Because without that, we would really be in a bind.
Man.
So yeah, I definitely think Taj would start. And I think it depends on the matchup whether we back him up with Sims or Obi. I think both of them puts us a little bit at a disadvantage. I mean, maybe, maybe not. Depends. You know, Obi we would be a small lineup, but that lineup has worked well for us. Sims just seems so inexperienced. Even when he was walking in the game, I was like, "Oh, like he just don't look like he's ready for this," you know. So I think we might be better off going small with Obi.
The lights did look bright for him. You know, listen, the first 1 or 2 games, you know, everyone's feeling kind of fresh and new, and he can mix right in. Now all of a sudden there's a little bit of pressure. We just came off of a loss. People are a little bit upset. You wasn't expecting to even play. I wasn't even expecting to step on the floor. Now you want me to come in and I got to face off against Andre Drummond?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he looked a little bit when he was stepping in. His eyes were kind of wide. I don't know if that's the reason why Tom Thibodeau decided, let me put RJ back in. I don't know. Maybe that was it. And Doc Rivers probably caught on to it quick, like, oh, this kid is scared. Nah, ref. Nah, he got in the game. Let him stay in the game. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
But, maybe if they have a practice or so, a walk through, whatever they're going to have, a shoot around, and he's mentally prepared to get in the game, maybe he'll be a little bit, he'll be more ready. For a young guy to just all of a sudden like, oh, I'm getting in the game, like in a serious part of the game, it could be a little bit nerve-wracking for him. You know what I mean? Because he knows he's got to come in and battle against Andre Drummond, but he better be ready. He better be ready.
Yeah.
G Fresh, what's your thoughts, man? That center spot. Oh, I guess G Fresh had to jump off for a second. We'll get back. Back to G Fresh in just a minute.
That next game, I think, is Milwaukee, right?
Yes.
Probably with Giannis. I don't know if you want to go with Sims to back up Taj. Probably go small. I think Giannis has the advantage no matter what. But I think probably better with Obi over Sims.
Yeah. Now what's up with Brook Lopez?
Will he be back? I know he's been out.
Right. I don't know if he'll be back. We have a couple of days, I guess, to figure that out. But if Lopez is there,
right.
I still don't know if he's going to be ready to deal with a guy like Lopez. But I guess you can give him a couple of minutes and see. Yeah, obviously, Taj Gibson would be the starter.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. I guess it's just now figuring out what do we do in the backup center spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that creates problems because it's going to be Taj could play. Brook, you're going to have to play him out to the 3-point line.
Right.
Right. And he can still post. So but mostly out to the 3-point line, you're going to have to play him.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let me get to a caller here. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Neville Humphreys from Long Island.
What's going on, Neville? How you feeling?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Appreciate you. Thank you. We appreciate it. How you feeling about tonight, man?
I don't think it's necessarily tonight, but since the season started, I've been having issues. So it's not necessarily tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The game tonight is how basically Tom has been playing these plays. And I've been frustrated, especially with Obi. I've been extremely frustrated because I haven't seen the nurturing, the development of these plays. I think when earlier in the season, when he first, I think I even sent a super chat regarding that. When he first put Sims in the game, that really upset me Because here is a player that been on your team for 1 year already, been through all what you put him through last year. I think that was the time to show him that you trust him, that you believe in him. So here I want to send, as a coach, I think that's what Tibbs should have been doing, saying, here, I trust your ability. I trust what you're bringing to this team.
Okay.
He did not do that. And I think right now, if I am a player, if I am Obi, I am questioning if this coach wants me on this team. Because I don't get the minutes. It doesn't matter how I play. Good, bad, indifference. I don't get the minutes. Plus, the other players, they can do whatever they want. Some players can do whatever they want. Play whatever. They don't play defense. Play defense. Don't show up. Don't show up for certain games. Or maybe largely glad back and forth. But the minutes, they still get the minutes.
Right.
So it's really annoying to watch this team. And I really don't even care about the record so much. I really don't care if we were a 500 team, and I could see some development plays. I could see Mitch taking some shots away from the hoop. I could see Obi playing the center position, the forward position, and even grooming him to play the small forward position. That would make me feel, excited, because I know down the line, this is, you have a player that can play any position. This is what teams should be doing, grooming this guy to play all three forward positions.
I mean, the only thing I can say, when you're playing behind a guy who's made the All-Star team, and Julius Randle in that position, it's natural that you're not going to get those minutes. And he's, it is tough for Obi. It is tough for Obi.
And I agree. But Sims, take tonight's game. Go on the court. You had one center, and everybody else was a forward or guard. Philly was playing small all night. Literally, 4 guards at some point in the game.
I mean, we played.
There are at least 4 guards.
Yeah, I mean,
and one center.
We played small as well. We played small as well. But
we didn't play Obi, though.
But Obi, well,
we played small. 8 minutes he played tonight.
You're right. He played 8 minutes.
We barely trust the guy to stay on the court.
Listen, he played.
The minute, you know what Doc Rivers did? Doc Rivers just subbing. When we went on the run after the timeout, he just subbed in a center. What team did? He matched
let me ask you this.
But he didn't leave Obi on the court. He took Obi out.
But let me ask you this. When the Knicks were small and Obi was the tallest guy on the floor, 6'8", the tallest guy on the floor, and Doc Rivers then subbed in Andre Drummond. So you're saying that you would have let Obi go up against Andre Drummond?
No, I wouldn't. I would put Randle to go against Drummond, because Randle can stay close to the hoop. Randle can rebound with Drummond. Why bring back at least I would see how this matchup works first. Give Obi a few minutes with next to Randle, see if I need to do something else. But I wouldn't just take out Obi.
Okay. No, I get it.
Because he was playing very well. Plus, what we have to realize, somebody has to guard Obi on the other side. Somebody is either Drummond has to guard him, or whoever else Doc Rivers decided he wants to guard it.
No, I get it. I hear you. I get it. We'll see what happens. With Obi getting more minutes. I do agree. Obi should be getting some more minutes. You heard what G Fresh said. When he's getting 16 minutes or more, the Knicks win. Now, is he getting 16 minutes because the Knicks have a lead, or is is the Knicks lead because he's getting 16 minutes? I don't know. But I'm sure there has to be a way, and we would all like to see a way to get Obi some more minutes out there on the floor. Neville,
It's not really, seriously.
Yeah.
It's not we have to see a way.
Yeah.
You have to trust the player.
Okay.
You have to put him out there and let him play the game.
Yeah. Hey, Neville,
and
I appreciate
deal with
your
the
time, man.
consequences.
I appreciate the
That's
time.
it.
I know we got some other calls. I appreciate
All
you
right,
for
man.
calling in, man.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know. 8 minutes tonight for Obi Toppin. He wasn't playing a bad basketball game. I did think when Tibbs brought Taj in for Obi, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe, let Obi stay out there. I know, okay, bring Taj in so he can defend Andre Drummond, but maybe let Obi, play for Burks or somebody else. Now, obviously, Burks ended up hitting a few big shots for us tonight. That helped us. I don't know what you're going to do there. We'll see how it goes.
It's tough.
It is tough. Obi's in a tough spot. Kareem, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Wagwan. This is Sierra. How are you doing tonight?
What's going on, man?
Ain't much, not much. Shout out to the panel. Good game tonight. Even though they had, they didn't have their starters, then they won like their last 5 out of 6 games or something like that. Well, they didn't lose since they played us, right?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah,
So,
you might be right. I don't know. I don't know how many players they had out. What their injury list looked like. From the time we played them the first game to now, I'm not sure what that injury list looked like. But I think this is Joel Embiid's first game out since then. Right. So I don't think he's been, just sitting out for a while. I think this is his first game out.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I knew what was going to happen, man. That knee is messed up.
Well, I think it was COVID.
He would be...
COVID.
It's COVID. It's COVID.
Yeah,
Kareem. It's
COVID. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy. Yeah, hopefully wishing a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
In regards to what you're talking about with Obi, I think the minutes with him as of late has been, in correlation to the way the games have been, like the gameplay's been turning out.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 4 to 5 games, man, we've been getting creamed in the first quarter. Then playing catch up. And I got to be real. Our bench, since performance this season has left much to be desired, they need to crank it up. Like, a big part of this team's success has to do with our depth. And It hasn't been it's been a disaster.
I think it's been a disaster. I mean, I think they can play better. I don't know if it's been a disaster. I mean, Rose has had some good games off the bench.
Yeah, but I mean, like the bench unit as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not getting the production from everybody. Like Burks is. How much is Burks averaging a season?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking somewhere around 8 points, maybe.
Yeah, Quickly's been struggling shooting. He had a good game tonight. But all right, I'll take the word disaster about that. That might be too extreme. A better word is consistency. That might be better.
Right.
Consistency, yes. Yeah. Disaster is a bit extreme, but we need and I would like to be fair. It may even be the whole team because what I think this offense should do is you got a guy like Kemba Walker, right? He's somebody that needs to have the ball in his hands, and which I'm pretty sure you guys see with the offense, it's bring the ball up, give it to Randle. That's a big part, and then we run the plays through him, whether he passes it or he takes a shot. A lot of the touches go to him when we get half court, and I feel like we should have Kemba breaking down the defense sometimes, and that will actually open up the floor and we may shoot better.
Yeah.
Can Kimba do that though?
Right. That's
Well, he's done it. He's you know, I think he can do it if he's if the coach wants him to do that. You know, of course, a lot of prior to getting here and on Charlotte and stuff, he was a slasher, a shot creator, but I don't think he's gonna do well playing like off the ball as much as he's been playing off the ball. That's not his game either. So I would like to see him, penetrate more. And, when we, I don't know if you remember the possession where we had him, and he had that clutch floater. That's Kemba Walker's game.
mm-hmm.
Not coming up half court, passing the ball and standing in the corner or on the top of the key.
I mean, the thing that I haven't seen from Kemba Walker is the explosion to get in there anytime he wants to. That's what I'm concerned about. Like Steph said, can he do it? Right now it looks like he's got to use a screen. He's got to come off the screen and then get into that mid-range area. I just don't know if he has the explosion to do it anytime he wants.
That he used to have, right?
Kareem, before I let you go, a couple things I want to read out to you.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Knicks bench is averaging 37 points a game. That's 8th in the NBA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Now they're shooting 45% from the field. That's 12th in the NBA. I think they could probably shoot better, but right now that's 12th in the NBA. You all right with that?
Yeah, not bad.
And then their rating, like overall rating, is number 2 in the NBA. I mean,
not bad.
We say they haven't, and I'm saying we're saying that they haven't been consistent, but then when we look at those type of numbers, it says something a little bit different.
How much are they shooting from 3?
33% from the 3-point line.
Yeah. So, but again, let me take that word. I may be being extreme because of the way the Kings have been playing out. So it may just be my eye.
Right.
Because I ain't gonna lie, man. Them days a week, I'm like, God, yeah, I'll be balling over here. So it may just be me. Yeah, I may be the extreme one because I would like to see that 3-point average come up more.
Yeah.
But field goals and rating, that's good. So I may be extreme.
I mean, the
way the games have been playing out.
There's been some inconsistent play though. It's no doubt about it. Let's put it like this: the Golden State Warriors net rating is 9, and they're number 1. The Knicks net rating is 6.5. They're number 2. They're the closest to the Golden State Warriors. The Philadelphia is 6.2. No, I'm sorry. The Knicks are 6.5. Philadelphia is 6.2. Miami 6.1. The Clippers are 4.9. We'll see. But I agree with you though. Part of the strength of this team is depth. So we definitely need the bench to play ball.
Yeah,
they got to hoop.
Because you know what it may just be, man. Like what it really comes down to is this. Because, even I saw Randle stats, and I'm like, damn, it don't seem like he's getting what those stats say based off of, the games. But what it really comes down to is, man, it's just the teams it's like everybody come in shooting threes on us.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what makes it look bad,
You know what the wild thing is, though? The wild thing right now, Randle's averaging 22.5 points, 11 rebounds, 5.5 assists so far this season, and he just added to that total tonight. I don't think that what I just read to you includes tonight. What's crazy is throughout it all, we've had some struggles so far. The Knicks are still 7-4. Will they ever find a way to really put it all together? Tom Thibodeau said time and time again they haven't played 48 minutes yet. Will they ever find a way to put it all together? That's the question. But they're not together, and they're 7-4, and they're just a game out of first place in the Eastern Conference. So they just moved up to 6th in the Eastern Conference. So they're back in the playoffs and no longer in the play-in.
Get the plan, exactly.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Kareem, I appreciate your call, man. See if we got some other calls on the line.
I appreciate you having me. Shout
Appreciate
out to
it,
the panel.
man.
Shout out to the chat.
Thank you.
Shout out to you.
Steph, what do you think about, what he was saying about the bench?
I mean, overall, I get what he's saying. There's the eye test and then there's the stats. Right? So for the eye test, you just think they're not doing well because a couple of guys are struggling. Then when you go to the stats, what you read out was actually pretty good. And I think they're improving. Quickly his shot is starting to drop.
Yep.
Burks' shot is starting to drop. It seems like he's getting more time too. Early in the season, it seemed like he was getting less time. So I think the bench is coming together. It's that first team.
Yeah. The first team is, out of sorts and just not clicking right now. Hopefully it's going to click sooner than later, but it's not clicking right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Burks has been kind of silent, it seems like, so far this season.
Yeah.
He just hasn't. He hasn't been there. I mean, he's been there, but he's been quiet. He hasn't had. I don't want to say a breakout game for Burks because he's been in the league for a while, but he hasn't had one of those games that we expect from Alec Burks.
Right.
From him to do time to time. And you guys seen it on the screen, so I do want to. I meant to switch the screen before I brought the Tom Thibodeau thing up, but you guys seen it. So we're going to listen to Tom Thibodeau and hear what he had to say about the game right now, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Thibodeau.
We came out with a lot more intensity. Our guys were flying around, and it was a big concern going into the game because obviously with the guys that they had out, putting more shooting on the floor and spreading us out, that was a big concern. But I thought our guys did a really good job of getting into the ball and then flying around, making a second and third effort, and also challenging shots. And so that makes a big difference.
You don't have Nerlens Noel for that second half, but late in the game before you brought Julius back in, you played small for a stretch. I mean, that's what you had tonight, but also it worked. What did you see from that small ball lineup?
Yeah, and I thought RJ at the 4 was really good. And Drummond is a load to deal with, but then when they downsized that, we actually were putting Jericho into the game, but then they took out Drummond, and so they really downsized, and so we went with 5 smalls, and we had Obi, I think, in there at that time as well.
Julius, last 5 minutes of the game, I mean, he hits big shot after big shot. That's what he does. But what did you see there?
He was a monster all the way around. I thought the way the game started, the energy that he was playing with, he set the tone defensively. He and Nerlens were all over the place. Our guards were into the ball. And then the way Julius closed the game, it was one big shot after the next. And he did it in a variety of ways. It was the 3, attacking the board. And when he plays like that, it's, it makes us a different team.
Kemba didn't have the best shooting night, but how about that those 2 plays right there where he takes the floater and then he
Huge. Those are monster plays because the game is basically on the line. And that's who he is. There's no moment that's too big for him. So on the road, he'll get to a good spot. And even the drive where Julius got the putback, he made sure he got the ball over Drummond, and then we were in position to get that putback. So I thought his overall play down the stretch, he and Julius had great chemistry in pick and roll there, and they created a lot of good offense.
Before the game about Julius talking about the need to be more vocal. But what you saw today, is that sort of what he does lead by?
Yeah, and and I said this many times about I want them to be vocal. I want everyone to use their voices. That's a big part of leadership. But I also want them backing it up with their actions. And the actions will always reflect one's priorities. And so when they're doing the right things, good things are going to happen. The defense was good. The rebounding effort was good. Sharing the ball, taking care of the ball, that was good. So, and there's still, we won today. There's, a lot to work on. It doesn't end. So we can't feel too good about ourselves. And that's what we're learning. And in this league, it's dangerous every night.
Any further update on Garland?
I didn't get the update other than, it's his knee. And so, we'll see how he responds to treatment tomorrow. But yeah, he was incredible. Okay, so.
Tell I know these guys are pros, but it's only human nature. I'm sure they were looking at this game. You sense any kind of needing to having to play against a leading team, or is that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of it.
No, I just said this is obviously a game that they probably circled because of the nature of the game makes sense. When they learn that it's a completed team they're going against, do you get a sense that they kind of almost have to kind of psych themselves up to play?
Yeah, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. And it's a credit to the Sixers. They they've been shorthanded the whole season, and they're playing great basketball. And I think, and that's really a big part of the league is that you can't get here without being a great player. And oftentimes you see it all the time where guys are out, and someone steps up, and they have a huge game. And so I think the way the Sixers have won, and obviously with Embiid, he's superstar, and they play off him extremely well. But those other guys are really good, and it's sort of when they're down players, Tobias Harris out, Simmons out, Embiid out. They are, Drummond was incredible. Those guys are good players. They got great depth, and they're playing hard as heck. They're playing great defense. They're sharing the ball. They're getting good shots. Their shot profile's terrific. So that's how. And to me, you can never underestimate that in this league. So there's usually a player or two out almost every night now. You don't know who's going to be out, but the teams that are shorthanded play incredibly hard. And if you're not matching that intensity, there's a good chance you're going to lose.
Playing with 5 fouls the final half. Do you see him change the way he does?
No. And if he, if he had gone out, Julius would have gone to the center position because they were playing. Drummond he's a monster. He's such a big body, but if Julius could do it, he's had good success against the big guys. But I don't want him to do it for an extended period of time because it takes a lot out of you physically when you're banging into that guy time after time after time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one thing that I took from there, not the one thing, one of the biggest things that I took from there is that Tom Thibodeau liked RJ at the 4. Right? So we were just talking about Obi. Right?
And the guy talking about, does he have the trust of the coach?
Right. So if he likes RJ at the 4, he likes what he sees there. I mean, that could spell less minutes for Obi. That could mean he is getting just 8 minutes a night. Because now he might start to say, you know what? We can take Randle out, let RJ play some 4 and have some other guys in the rotation, or just shorten the rotation. Wow. If he really does like having RJ at the 4 spot, that could be tough for that could be even tougher for Obi Toppin. I don't know. What do you think about that, Steph?
Yeah, I hope not. I would like Obi to get more minutes, and I don't. Yeah, that's very interesting. Like why he chose to go with with RJ. My preference would be Obi to get him more minutes because I just think he changes things for us. I'm not going to argue with it. RJ is a bit undersized, but he is strong, does give you another ball handler, does give you another playmaker. somebody who's strong with the ball. But Obi's not a slouch in the minutes that he's been giving us. So my preference would be to go with Obi, because I think he just changes our energy level, like you were saying, and he gives us those transition buckets as well. And him and Obi play well. That alley-oop is not going to be there with RJ. I can tell you that.
Right. Right.
But it's there with Obi, and it energizes us as well. So I hope that doesn't mean we're going to see even less of Obi.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope not as well. But, the more he gets comfortable with using RJ in that role, it could. The one thing I will say is if a team is really small, then you can have Obi at the 5, and like he did tonight, Obi at the 5 and RJ at the 4. I don't know. We'll see. But I guess at the very least, he figured out that RJ can play the 4. Right. And, if you really need it and he wants to shorten that rotation, like for the playoffs or something like that.
Right.
Then he knows RJ can come in and play some 4. Let's listen to the star tonight, Julius Randle, 31 points, 12 rebounds. So what he had to say.
Talked last night about needing to be more vocal, but what you did today on the floor, what you really want to lead.
Yeah, I had a long talk with Derek too after the game, and because I'm an extrovert person, I'm kind of like lead by example on my actions and stuff like that. And he was telling me it took him a long time to figure it out. And it's just getting out of your comfort zone, growing as a person, as a leader. And that next step for me is just being a little bit more vocal with my teammates and talking and making sure we're staying together and telling each other what we see out there.
What happened on the celebration?
Man, bro, like it was crazy, bro. That hurt. I was celebrating, and then I think I had slipped, and then RJ went to chest bump me and took my legs out, and it was a wrap. It was a wrap. Yeah, it hurt, man. I'll probably be a little sore tomorrow, but I'll be all right.
Played it off till you gave a push-up.
Man, listen, man. You gotta react fast in those situations. So I was happy we won. If we was losing, it probably would have took me a little while to get up.
Julius, at the end, your guys' offense stalled a little bit in the third quarter. Did you feel like you kind of had to take over in that moment?
Just took what the game gave me. The biggest thing is out there, you just staying confident and trusting your work. And like I said, those are the moments that I want. Those are the moments, that I want to thrive in. And that's just what it was, just trust my work and just be in the moment.
You're going to make RJ pay for your doctor bill after that?
Nah, man, Art good, bro. He made some big plays, huge on the defensive end today for us. So he's good, man. My youngin, he's good.
What was it like out there at the end with like little craziness, fans going crazy, throwing stuff?
All I saw was I think Kemba had the ball at the top and they threw like one of the little red balls on the court. So how Philly is, man. Their fans are passionate, so they was probably pissed.
What was the chemistry like with Kemba down the stretch?
It was good. I think we took a step forward today. All of us learning and figuring each other out and stuff like that. So it was really good, man. And we just got to keep building on it.
Julius, it's interesting actually to hear you say you're an introvert, because I've never really had that impression from you. But what do you like about the way that you've grown in that dynamic, the way that the game has pushed you that way just as much as a player?
It's funny, and it's kind of cool to see just who I was as a player and a person coming into the league in year 8, who I am now. So just being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and that's just one of the things for me out there on the court. Getting outside of my comfort zone, talking, telling teammates what I see, asking them what they see, and it's really just about communication. A lot of things out there defensively or in the game period we can eliminate if we just communicate. So just getting out of our comfort zone, getting out of my comfort zone, communicating, and just trying to be more vocal. So it's definitely different for me, but I'll take it in stride.
Have you found that you've enjoyed it though, too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it helps me. Like I've told you guys before, getting lost in the team and getting lost in helping others. That helps me out as a player. As far as my game and stuff, and I think that's just another way, like talking more, communicating with each other more, just helps me personally get lost in the team, and from there I just go out and just play and just make the game easy.
All right, Julius, man, he's learning about the East Coast a little bit. Got himself a bubble coat. Make sure he's staying warm. He's learning a little bit. Anything, Steph, you heard, from Julius Randle in that post-game press conference that sticks out to you?
Yeah, that he's an introvert and that he had to, I think he said he was talking to Rose, about, taking that challenge personally and being more of a vocal leader. I was kind of surprised at that, and maybe that's why he's so emotional because he's holding everything in, instead of calling team meetings or calling guys out, right, or talking, or talking to guys. Maybe if you do that, he'll be less frustrated, on the court. So I thought that was interesting, and going back to the Tibbs interview, just what I saw as well, that, he was flying around much more engaged defensively, fighting over the screens as well. I think Julius still has some growing to do, no doubt about it. But I don't think he's in his prime, but I don't think he's reached his peak yet. I still think that he has he could still reach another level.
Yeah, I agree. I think so as well. G Fresh, I want to ask you, just talking about Randle being an introvert, he says that's what he is. If your leaders are introverts, does it make it tough to lead? I guess that's why Taj Gibson is there. Maybe Julius needs to hang out with Taj Gibson a little bit, and try to take some leadership lessons from Taj Gibson. But do you think it makes it tougher to have, your best players be introverts?
Well, the quick sidebar to the Taj comment, Taj be out in the streets. I think he was actually in one of the verses in the crowd, so he be out there.
Yeah. He's not an introvert.
Yeah, he's not an introvert. I will share this. I have a close family friend that knows of Julius, more of his outer circle, and actually got a chance to meet Julius. And he is an introvert. This guy that I know, he played overseas ball and stuff like that, so he kind of has like some intertwined. But he was able to meet Julius, and Julius is correct. Julius, an introvert, kind of guy. But I think you can win with a guy that's an introvert. I think it's just the way the balance of your team. I mean, you look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan ain't the most, outgoing guy. I think someone did an interview not too long ago and said that the Spurs was probably one of the most boringest team to, be on. So, but I think it just depends on what type of coach you have, the organization, surroundings, and other players that are very vocal, that can kind of supplement that. But I think Julius will do fine. I think the difference is Julius is trying to take those steps to be more of a leader. And I feel like those games where he's just not talking and his energy is off, it kind of permeates the team a little bit. You kind of see it as watching a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely think you can win, with having your leaders as introverts. I just don't know if it makes it a little tougher. I think the good thing about Taj Gibson is he has the respect of everybody, and I think he is probably the locker room leader on this team, because Kemba is also a quiet guy.
Kemba is a quiet guy.
You know what I mean?
RJ is low key. He's passionate, but he's not vocal. You look at D Rose. D Rose is not really vocal.
He's not vocal.
So Fournier's not vocal.
Right. You know, so
and we got a whole bunch of guys that are not really. Now, the only guy I see that could have that vocal, just natural, just the guy that's very vocal is Quickly. He kind of come across as that a little bit, not more of an introvert.
Right, but he's not ready to step into that role.
Yeah, he's not.
You know
He's not ready to step into that role. So even you look at a guy like Kawhi Leonard, he's not a vocal guy. I just think the way you construct your team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the way we. Oh, go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say that's why Taj Gibson's gonna be around for a while because they need his voice in the locker room. Right. And probably be around for a while as a player. You know what I mean? Because they need his voice. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes our Herb Williams. You remember Herb Williams? He was on the team forever, never played a lick. He was just on the squad, and then finally retired and became a coach. You know what I'm saying? Right. But he wouldn't play a lick just on the squad because he was here. He knew the ropes. Probably had some leadership qualities and things like that. I want to give a big shout out to Frank. Thank you for the rose. Appreciate you for that. And I do want to just let everybody know, if you want to see more post-game interviews, go to the New York Knicks YouTube channel. I'm putting a link in the chat right now. You can see more of their post-game interviews and interviews of players and Tom Thibodeau and a bunch of other stuff. You can also check them out on their MSG YouTube page as well. But I'm putting it in the chat. Go check them out. So you can see more interviews, ladies and gentlemen. Really quick, before we get up out of here, any thoughts on the next game versus Milwaukee?
I'll be there. That's it. I'll be in the building.
All right. Oh, that's what's up. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, maybe you can check in from inside the garden.
Oh, you already know that.
Yeah, check in. Steph, any thoughts on the game?
You know what? I think it's going to be a tough game. Those second games, it's not back to back, but we just played them, a week ago, if that. We beat them, so they're going to want revenge. They're going to play better. Drew Holiday is back. He was back for that game, but I think he only played like 20 minutes. But I think he's back in his regular role. So I think it's going to be a tough game for us, especially if Noel is out. Noel was very active in that game, really helped us defensively with Giannis. So if he's out, he's a load as it is. That's going to be tough. Taj is going to be the best at it, but Taj is 35. Giannis look like he's 12. He's just
right,
full of energy. So I think it's going to be a tough game. Julia said that they found out a few things about themselves today. We will see. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. G Fresh, anything else you want to add?
I know Giannis is gonna. I think Giannis marked this one on his calendar. So, yeah. So with that said, prepare for Giannis to go off on a tear early. I don't know as far as their, guys are being healthy. I don't know who's coming to play this game, but this is going to be another game where the Knicks is going to have to, really grind it out, watch their turnovers. Giannis is going to be Giannis, and I guess you just don't allow other guys like, what's the guy, Noel? I can't pronounce his name.
Right.
Yeah, you can't let guys like that go for 15 to 18 points a game. Let Giannis be Giannis and allow the other, don't allow the other guys to beat you. And I think we might have a chance.
Yeah. This is going to be a tough one. When they were exchanging jerseys after the previous game, Julius was smiling. Giannis was just smirking a little bit. He was steaming because they just lost the game. And they're going to be they're going to come back to try to blow the Knicks out. I think they're going to want to blow the Knicks out. So,
yeah,
especially on their home court.
Yeah, exactly.
About Queens Court tomorrow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Queens Court tomorrow at 8:30. I will be joined by Guard Up Knicks. So the three of them, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, make sure you guys jump in there. I see Guard Up Knicks in the chat. Make sure you guys join us tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. 8:30 p.m. is going to be a dope show. Super dope show.
You already know that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head up out of here. I will be on the shoot around tomorrow. Finally back. Right. We can get back to our regular schedule. I'll be on the shoot around tomorrow to break down some more of this game. I got some things that I was looking at that I really do want to break down, get the video and break it down and stuff like that. So I'll catch you on the shoot around tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe right now. Ring that notification bell so you can be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post to my community section, or if the Queen's Court comes on, or if the controversy comes on, or if the NBA report comes on, or any other show that's going to be coming out soon comes on.
My special with Fox on November 13th. I forgot. 8 o'clock.
See?
We're going to be breaking down the first, 11, 12, 13 games, whatever many games we have by then. That should be a dope show as well.
See? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot of dope content coming. So, make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed, because we got some special things coming for you this season. All right? Out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. Spread love.
This is NBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.